Welcome back, everybody. My name's Will, and today I want to show you guys a little tip that I recently discovered myself on a really cool piece of gear. I want to show you how to improve the Blue Force Gear 10-speed ultralight dump pouch. Now, before I get into the modification that I'm going to show you guys to this dump pouch today, sorry if this is like really loud in the microphone. Before I get into the modification I want to show you guys today on this, I want to talk about this pouch just a little bit. I don't have a ton of experience with this individual specific pouch, but I have used dump pouches, I'd say a decent amount, enough to know the strengths and weaknesses of dump pouches and where they come in handy and how annoying they can be. And I really like this one. This isn't a review, by the way. If you guys want to see a review of this pouch, please let me know. I've got 2 different versions of it, and that I think would be kind of a cool video to make. If you're interested, put it down in the comments below. I think this is probably the best pouch for my needs in terms of a dump pouch, but there's one glaring issue with it that I figured out a way to fix, and I want to show you guys how I fixed it, so if you have one of these or you buy one in the future, you can make the same modification and make it way better. Alright, so here's the basis of the problem that I decided to fix, and then when I did it on my other pouch, I decided I'd show you guys the video of it. The problem is, even though this pouch is a very thin, lightweight material, which is awesome, it packs away very compactly, as you saw. I love those features and the overall execution of this pouch. But you can see here, this is your drawstring for actually tightening up the opening of the pouch. And the reason you want to do that is so you can drop things like magazines or loose ammo or a water bottle or whatever else you're going to be carrying around in this thing inside the pouch. It's easy to get in there because there's an opening you can shove it through, but because the opening is smaller than the rest of the bag, it's far less likely to bounce out or fall out, especially with dynamic movement. Doesn't mean it can't happen, it's just way less likely to. The problem with this one is this. Notice here's your cord lock right there. It comes open way too easily. So yeah, you can tighten it up and then you can go to put stuff in there. I'm just going to use this holster as an example, and you can go to shove stuff in there, but as you put things in there and put more things in there and put more things in there, it's loosening up as you're sticking your hand in and bringing it out. It's not keeping the same position, and that means that it kind of defeats the purpose of having it. Now sure, you could fix this very simply by adjusting it to the position you normally want it at and then tying a knot right here behind the cord lock so that it stays in this particular size. But then what happens when you need to open it up to put something bigger in? You're kind of hosed at that point. And it's just because this cordage is just so thin. I mean, look at that. That is tiny. Here is a 9mm round for reference. I mean, it's like there's nothing to how thin this cord is. So I'm going to show you guys what I did to fix this particular problem. And you're only really going to need one thing, and that's some elastic shock cord. Now, in my case, I'm actually going to steal the elastic shock cord from one of these belt mounted versions of the Taco that I don't like. If you wonder why I don't like this particular pouch, I have a video on it. I'll put a card, probably, I think it'll be up on this side of the screen for you guys, so you can check that out. But bear with me a minute. I'm going to untie this, pull it all out, and I'll be right back. All right, so gotten my Taco pulled apart here. Got the cord lock, the elastic shock cord, and the shell of the pistol Taco. I just can't stand this belt attachment method, but that can go away. We don't actually need the cord lock for this either, but hold on to it because it'll be useful for a lot of other stuff. And again, just as a comparison, this will give you a better idea of just how thin this gray cord is they use for the opening on the Blue Force gear dump pouch. So that we can get rid of. That might be useful for certain other things like tethering stuff down to you. So again, you could hold on to it, you could throw it away depending on if you have a use for it or not, but that's up to you. I'm just gonna say it's not necessarily trash. So I've got my length of shock cord, and the amount that comes in the pistol tacos is about perfect, I would say, for this application. So now I'm gonna come over to the top of our pouch where we've got our cordage here, and you can untie this if it'll untie. I'm probably gonna edit this because it's not entertaining. So untie that knot, and then I would go ahead, here's your cord lock again for your Blue Force gear pouch, and once I get this pulled through, I'll show you guys, it's actually attached inside the pouch. It's just there. That's why you don't need the cord lock from the taco, which that's a really cool, neat touch. I like how they did that. That's a nice little detail that just makes things super convenient. Your cord lock never moves around on you. You always know where it's gonna be. That's cool. So now we've got our two ends of this gray cordage going through the opening of our dump pouch, and it still has the holster inside of it. And what we want to do is replace this with that shock cord. There's a few ways you can do this. You could tie a sheet bend between this cord and your shock cord. It's been a long time since I was a Boy Scout, and I was never very good at the sheet bend. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to tie a tiny little knot in the very end of this shock cord, just an overhand knot. It'll make it a little bit more of a pain in the butt to route it through, but not a ton. I'm going to get that knot nice and small and tight so that it can work its way through this channel easily. And then take this gray cordage here, and if my hands will cooperate with me, come around and just tie a couple of overhand knots beneath that one I just tied on the shock cord so that it doesn't come undone halfway through. This may be a little bit boring for you guys. I don't know, maybe some of you have like you like into knot ASMR. You like watching people tie knots. So if that's you, let me know in the comments. Be interesting. And then just pull that all the way up. All right, so now take this and I'll just start routing it into the same channel, if I can find it with my eyes, that gray cordage is going through. Get that knot pushed up in there, get it started, and then from there, I'll come to this other side, grab the other end of the gray, and then just start pulling. And again, your knot may get a little bit tied up in there. It may not want to come through so easily. You just have to kind of work at it. But once you pull it through enough, get it worked in there nicely, eventually you will work that knot around. All right, and once you get started, find your knot, keep your thumb and forefinger behind it, and pull on your gray cord. Pull, don't pull it all the way through now, you gotta be careful. But now I've got my knot exposed. And again, I didn't want to pull that end all the way through. So from there, I will just untie this. And again, this is very not easy to do from behind a camera. Especially with very thin cordage like this. There we go. And now I've got another piece of this that I can use for tethering stuff or whatever other use I come up with. Now I'll untie the knot here in the elastic and the shock cord. All right, so I've got my shock cord knot untied. I'm just gonna take the two ends, make them meet up evenly in the pouch, and then shove them through the cord lock. All right, get a little bit of excess going. open up the pouch as wide as it'll go and take out what excess shock cord there is for the pouch. I don't want all the excess in the world. Okay, so that's really as big as this opening could go, and I'm not using any of the elastic property of the shock cord. It's still loose, which means I have a lot of room to tighten, and it can get as big as it can get without any interference. Now, take my two ends, just tie a knot so they can't come back through, like so. And from there, if you wanted to trim this down, you could. I'll probably trim about an inch or so off, but I like having the knot and this to just grab and cinch if I need to. And at that point, now I've fixed that problem because the cord lock will actually hold on, and that elastic shock cord will let this stretch some so I can put stuff in it without forcing it to come back through the cord lock and permanently open the mouth of the pouch. That's it, guys. That's all there is to it. That's how I very simply and cheaply modified this Blue Force Gear ultralight 10-speed dump pouch, which again, I think these things are awesome. So far, that's really my only complaint, is the cordage they use for the top. And if that's your complaint, if you have that same problem, here's a really easy way for you to fix it. So yeah, again, not a full review on this pouch. I do like this pouch a lot. I basically noticed something that I didn't like about a piece of gear that I otherwise did like, figured out a redneck way to fix it with my degree in redneck engineering. I have a PhD in redneck engineering. Everybody that has made it past the age of, I'd say 18 or 20 from Alabama has a PhD in redneck engineering. It's not actually true. I know a lot of dumb people in Alabama too. But I fixed something that makes this piece of gear even more useful and more enjoyable to use for me. Less frustration with certain things. So that's really it. I just wanted to make this video, guys. Don't be afraid to modify your gear. If it's something that's sentimental or historical or just otherwise cool, you're cloning a setup from the GWatt or Black Hawk Down or something, then that's one thing. Although if you take a look, those guys modified their stuff all the time. But don't be afraid to modify your gear to make it better, to make it suit your needs better, based on your experiences. All right, guys, if you're a geardo like me and you liked this video, if it gave you an idea of how to modify your another piece of gear or helped you fix a problem that you may not even realize you had with this piece of gear, do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video with your friends. That helps the channel grow, and it just makes the work that I do more and more valuable, and I really appreciate that. I can't tell you enough how much it means to me when you guys like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you guys got an idea of how to modify something of yours from this video, do me a favor, post it down in the comments below. I'm always interested in hearing lots of little gear hacks and all kinds of things, and I just like having conversations with y'all. So also, if you have questions, feel free to post those in the comments below. And if you'd rather, you can also email me or send me a DM on Instagram. I'll have that stuff here on the screen for you guys as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Y'all take it easy, roll tide, and I'll see you later.